When I was 8 years old, I pushed a little patch boat into the Pacific Island. The sail was old. The wood was also old. And the salt stung my eyes. Within the safety of the reef, I could hear the waves breaking against the hull, slow, steady, ancient. And in that stillness, I felt something bigger than me. The ocean was endless. I didn't know it then, but I was starting to learn what my ancestors knew. That courage doesn't come from what you own, but from what you remember. We live in a world that tells us success belongs to those with privilege, with money, resources, elite systems. But what if that story is incomplete? What if true performance doesn't start with access, but with connection? Connection to land, to people, and to the stories that shaped us. Many, many years later, I took the same spirit beyond the reef and into another ocean, the Olympic Games. Yes, I had a coach. I had support from clubs in Sydney and sailors who opened their homes and shared their knowledge. But what carried me wasn't a system. It was the hands that lifted me from every corner of the world. My family in Samoa, Tutuila American Samoa, Aotearoa, New Zealand, Australia, Germany, friends, mentors, colleagues, even the Fiji sailing team where we would share in food and laughter when times got tough. That is what truly sustained me. That is the idea I want to share with you today. That connection to people, to culture, to the moana can be just as powerful as privilege. In the Olympics, success usually means big dollar campaigns, full-time teams, the best equipment, and that is one path to excellence. But here's the thing, most of us will never have that. Not in sport, not in business, not in life. And yet success is still possible. Why? Because success isn't about what we lack, it's about what we carry. As we say in Samoa, e so'o le fau ma le fau. One fiber binds to another. We are stronger when we weave together. My path looked a bit different. I worked full-time. I traveled overseas to try and train with others. I bunked on couches, borrowed gear, leaned on my village, some of whom are here tonight, for help. Excellence for me was measured in adaptability and trust. And that's not just my story. You've lived this too. If you've ever had to try to make ends meet, if you've ever had to rely on family and friends just to get through, you know this truth. Success isn't about what we lack. It's about what we carry. And research backs this too. A Harvard study on resilience found that students who drew strength from cultural identity and community networks outperformed peers with less advantage, outperformed peers with more advantages. The less you had, the stronger interdependence. And that interdependence builds performance. I remember being on that Olympic start line in Marseille, France. The wind whispered one way, the current pulled another. All around me, sails snapped sharply in the breeze, dozens of boats gleaming as coaches exchanged final words while helicopters circled above. Felt my heart sinking with the ocean's rhythm. I felt small, but not alone. Because in that moment, I wasn't just one sailor, I was a continuation of a long line of master navigators. I wasn't doing what my ancestors did, but I was remembering what they taught. That when the ocean feels too big, you look to the stars. Not to escape, but to find your bearings again. And so can you, because in those moments when you feel outspent, outnumbered, or outclassed, it won't be privilege that saves you. It'll be connection to those who believe in you and to those who came before. And this isn't just a Pacific story. People all around the world are chasing excellence without privilege. First-generation students, mothers starting small businesses, young leaders breaking barriers. Their stories prove that resilience doesn't belong to one culture, but the South Pacific shows us what it looks like in action, navigating vast seas with knowledge carried in memory, in language, and in each other. As Epeli Hauofa famously said, there is a world of difference viewing the Pacific as islands in the faraway sea and as sea of islands. And it's time that we start seeing ourselves the same way. Not as small, isolated, or lacking, but as expansive, connected, and powerful. So the question isn't whether we have enough. The real question is, will we recognize the strength we already carry? Because success isn't about what we lack, it's about what we carry. Our identity, our family, our communities. If Pacific navigators could cross the world's largest ocean guided by memory and stars, if a Samoan sailor could reach the Olympics carried by her village, then imagine what you can achieve if you just trusted the strength already within you and around you. Because our wisdom isn't behind, it's within, and the world needs it. Thank you.